Hey everyone, today we're going to be showing you how to install steel mesh onto a flat pan roof. The method of installation is going to be just using screws. There's screws and a bit of slotting of the mesh to make it work around whatever details you've got. Now we've got one particular roof style here, but there's lots of different flat pan roofs where you can use this installation method. So just follow the basic rules and principles that we show you throughout the video and it'll suit your installation. The things you're going to need are a drill with a 1/4 inch nut solder and a pair of tin snips. So let's jump on and we'll give you a look. First, we're going to roll out our mesh roll across the length of the roof. Then we're going to use our gutter trim to hold it in position. We're going to put the first screw in and then the last one, making sure the trim's sitting nice and flat. And then now that that's tacked into position, we can put the other screws in the center positions. Just do that along the length of the roof. Just butt each of the trims up next to each other. You don't have to overlap them. Next, we're going to trim the mesh so that it's overhanging the roof sheet only by about 80 millimeters or so. The most important thing here is to check how much the roof sheet is overhanging the gutter. We want to trim the mesh to about that distance, if not a little bit less, because we're going to be putting screws in the pan of the roof, so we want those screws to be sitting over the gutter, not over further back on the roof sheet. Now, we're going to take a notch out of the mesh. You can see we're taking this down to the edge of the roof sheet. Now, for this particular roof sheet we've got here, this is the shape notch that we're taking. Depending on what you've got, whether it's a skinny, tall rib or a slightly wider one or a reverse V shape like this, you might want to experiment with a slightly different shape. The idea is the mesh is going to press down into the pan of the roof like you can see us doing here. We just want to be able to stretch the mesh over the rib. In this case, we really do have to stretch it because it's this sort of reverse shape. And you just want it sitting nice and square like you can see here. Next, we're going to pop a few screws in the pan. Now, it's not normally the practice to put screws in the pan, but in this instance, because we're overhanging the gutter, it's okay to do so. Because worst case, if any water happens to get through those screws, at least it's going to fall into the gutter, not within the roof space. This particular roof type has got a few little tiny ribs in the section of pan there. I'm guessing that's to make it a little bit stronger, to give it some strength. Now the challenge with that is it's going to pop the mesh up as it's going along. So we're having to put a few extra screws in on the side of each of those ribs. So if you've got a roof which has got a profile like this with a few more ribs or shapes that you've got to work around, give us a call and then we can make sure that we send you out the right number of screws, because typically we wouldn't supply quite this many, but we can sort you out. So just give us a call, we'll work through it, we'll make sure that we get the right kit for you. Finally, we're going to put a screw, make sure we've got a screw at the edge of where we've made those notches. That's super important to make sure that leaves are kept out. And there it is. You can see how the mesh is sitting once it's installed on this flat pan roof. It's sitting nice and flush, nice and square, and you can see that those screws are holding the mesh down into position to ensure that leaves can't get wedged underneath the mesh.